All right, welcome back, everyone. We have our next presentation from Garrett Kalt talking about sexual assault on college campuses, and looking forward to hearing it. Good luck.
Thank you. The National Sexual Assault Violence Prevention Center says that 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted by the time they graduate college, and 1 in 16 males will be. Distressed, I set out to learn more about this growing statistic, and I helped with the It's on Cougs campaign at my college. My name is Garrett Kalt, and I am a sexual assault awareness prevention advocate. So today I'm briefly going to be sharing with you guys my background, my story, as well as an overview of my cause, and some of the specifics such as my how, my why, the vision and mission, as well as my action plan following Mount Vernon, and what I hope to accomplish, and what I define success as being. So we'll start with my story. It's always the fun part. So in the left photo there, that is me at our Week of Welcome event. So like many other universities, Week of Welcome is a time that students come to school a little bit early and are able to meet their peers, get acclimated to the college setting, and yeah, so it's just a week of doing all these fun activities, and that is where I met my good friend Megan, who is in that picture there. And me and Megan quickly became really good friends. She's part of the college with me, and we went on a leadership retreat that weekend, and she was part of my group. So yeah, we really got to know each other very well. And once classes started up, I noticed that Megan wasn't her normally bubbly self. She just wasn't acting how she usually does. So I wanted to approach her to see if anything was wrong. And later that night when we hung out, I asked her, and that was when she shared with me that she had been sexually assaulted. And I just remember I didn't know what to say. I was so upset and frustrated, and I really felt bad for her. And yeah, I did everything I could to support her in that difficult time. And yeah, and at the same time, I was starting school, joining organizations, and I joined student government and joined the It's on Cougs campaign, and that is the campaign that I help lead at my university. And before I go to the next slide, I do want to let you all know that Megan is with us. She's watching back home. So I want to say hi, Megan. She is happy that I'm able to share her story as she tries to be an advocate for this issue nationwide. So this is a national campaign that really gained steam in 2014 when President Barack Obama and Vice President Biden joined Americans across the globe in launching the It's on Us campaign. This campaign is aimed at stopping sexual assault on college campuses. And we all know the popular headlines of Baylor University and the Stanford sexual assault incident. So this campaign really added a spotlight to this important issue, and luckily our university, along with many other universities, wanted to join the It's on Us campaign, and we did a little rendition of it, and we call it It's on Cougs. So before I get into I wanted to give you all a brief overview of what my cause is and how my university handles sexual assault cases. So first, I want to give you a background of the environment at my school. So we have 20,000 students at my undergraduate and research institution, and we have about 25,000 people in the town. So as you can see, that's pretty much a big college town. Plus, we are isolated and located in the middle of the Palouse, which is the rolling hills. And we also have a big emphasis on athletics at my school and Greek life. And it's normal for students to go out on Friday and Saturday nights. As far as statistics go, again, nationwide, it's 1 in 5 women will be sexually assaulted, and men, it's 1 in 16. Unfortunately, at my school, it is 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 males. And this kind of adds to another issue that my school is dealing with, is that we're on the watch list. So us, along with 50 plus other universities nationwide, are currently on the watch list from the U.S. Department of Education about how we've handled sexual assault cases in the past. Yeah, as you can see, this is a really big nationwide problem that not only my school is facing, but also other universities nationwide. So now I'd like to take a few moments to talk to you all about my campaign. I'm going to go over the why, the how, the what, and also the who. So the why for me is pretty simple. It's no one should feel, or no one should get violence perpetrated to them, nor should they perpetrate violence. So that's my big why, and specifically when people aren't in control. That's something that we need to make sure that we remember. The how of my campaign is specifically relating to sexual assault. We hope to address the why through education, awareness, and a committed community that does not condone violence. The what, I have a couple of things listed up here. These are a few things that our campaign does. We have the Take the Pledge, which is students can sign up online on the It's On Us campaign and take the pledge to intervene in cases which sexual assault may occur, and also to be an advocate for this important issue. We do classroom reps where we share educational material and talk about our upcoming events. We outreach to specific groups. We show films, awareness videos, and we really focus on our campus partnerships so we're able to reach a broad population of students. And now I'm going to share with you our vision, mission, and values of the It's on Cougs campaign. I'm going to read it off just to give you guys a little bit more clarity about what our campaign's all about. So our vision is we envision a Washington State University where all feel safe and free of violence. A student body mindful of their resources, we seek to educate others about the importance of healthy relationships and stepping in cases which violence may occur. Cougs help Cougs. Our mission statement is, it's the mission of the It's on Cougs campaign to outreach to students and work with administration to prevent and spread awareness of sexual assault and gender-based violence, to educate students about the meaning of consent and healthy relationships, to encourage others to step in cases which violence may occur, to give support to all who fall victim to sexual assault on our campus. We value a safe and educational environment free of violence, a campus which all students feel like they belong and are a part of the WSU Cougar family, a student body that is aware of the issue of sexual assault and is willing to step in cases which it may occur. Cougs help Cougs. A faculty and staff that supports students and has their best interests in mind. A conduct board that provides justice in cases which sexual assault may occur. So after sharing that, hopefully you have a little bit better picture of what our campaign is aiming and focusing on doing. Okay, awesome. Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. So yes, here's my logic model, and a quick shout out to Allison back there. Thank you so much for providing us this knowledge. I'm a really big strategic planner, so I was kind of nerding out when you were showing us all the ways that we can plan out our activities. Yeah, so here are 4 big things that I'd like to highlight that was a part of my logic model. First, activities. This was the what that I shared with all of you earlier about taking the pledge, showing those educational videos, having down-to-earth discussions about this important topic, working with faculty. The audience for our campaign can be broken down into 4 different groups. First, we have the student leaders and advocates that are helping lead the campaign. Second, we have WSU faculty and staff. Third, we have WSU student body, which in itself can be broken down into many different target audiences. And then last, we have WSU students who have fallen victim to sexual assault. And we want to make sure that this campaign is really inclusive of everyone on our campus. At this time, I'd like to mention the who of our campaign, which is one of my favorite things. The It's On Us campaign that nationwide was started really has a good ring to it because it is on us to stop sexual violence. And for the It's On Cougs, it's on Cougs. Like, we want everyone to be part of this campaign and make sure that we're working towards defeating and reducing the number of sexual assaults on our campus. As far as our short-term outcomes go, We really want to make sure that the student body is educated about the resources that they have for them, as well as they know like what consent is and how it can be given. And we also want to make sure that students are aware that sexual assault is something that does happen on college campuses, and that they are able to step in and be an active bystander. Our long-term outcomes, of course, our number one thing that we are striving to do is reduce the number of sexual assaults on our campus, and this comes along with wanting to make sure that students are active bystanders, so if they see something, they say something, and also that everyone knows what resources are available to them. So I have been here for 5.5 weeks, along with all the other fellows, and we've been working on our capstone causes and really honing in on our leadership abilities. So what are we going to do when we go back home? This is what I personally plan to do. As soon as I return back to my campus from Mount Vernon, I want to make sure that the It's on Cougs committee is an official committee. That way we can receive university funding and that the campaign is more organized. In the past 2 years, it's kind of just been student leaders doing what they can to put this on. So we want to make this more of a formal committee. And just to name a few here, also establish like an online presence. So we want to create a website with all the resources, as well as social media presence, so students are aware of what's going on. We can put our events on there, as well as reminding students to be safe when they go out on Friday and Saturday nights. We also want to make sure that we really foster our partnerships and that we have everyone connected, so contacting those partnerships and making sure that they're on board. Creating an educational workshop. This is one of the biggest things that me and my leadership team are working on. Currently, freshman students don't have to go through mandatory training about consent or sexual assault, and I think it would be greatly beneficial if there was a program which students learned what consent is and issues surrounding that, and a strategic plan. So I've been lucky while I'm here at Mount Vernon to have the help from staff members and my mentors back home to create a one-year strategic plan that I hope to utilize in the year to come and act as a framework for this campaign. But further down the road, we want to create a longer-term strategic plan that can be used to create my next point, which is sustainability. We want to make sure that this is a campaign and movement that is constantly being talked about, being that it is something that is very important. So challenges. Well, one of the biggest challenges I'm going to have is being on the same page with everyone. So I've had the unique opportunity of coming here to Mount Vernon for 5.5 weeks to work on this, and I have been in contact with my leadership cohort back home, but just making sure that we're all on the same page, not only when I get back, but also like throughout the year when we're putting on the campaign. We want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. Getting the Greek community involved. Statistics shows that sexual assault is more prevalent in the Greek community, so we want to make sure that we're able to address this, not in a way that we're attacking this community, but in a way that they can own this campaign, because it is their campaign too, and really be a part of it and something that they push forward and advocate for. I think that my involvement with the Greek community, as well as other people on the leadership team that are in the Greek community, will be beneficial, as we'll be able to outreach to them in that way. Faculty support. So no school wants to be known to have a sexual assault problem, and faculty often like strays away from even talking about the issue because it tarnishes their university and institution. But if we really want to see changes being made, we're really going to have faculty support helping us and collaborating with them. We don't want to just be the ones telling them what we're doing, but we also want to constantly be getting their impact or their feedback. Dedicated leaders and advocates. This is an issue that a lot of student leaders can see as daunting. So really getting people that are passionate about it and want to see a change, and people that are going to be able to be lifelong advocates and really push for this and pass it on to the next generation. And lastly, rhetoric and developing the right message. So it can be pretty hard to talk about sexual assault, and I myself, as not being someone that has been assaulted and has not had intensive training on how to talk about it, really want to make sure that our campaign isn't just a group of people taking pictures for Instagram. We're not just trying to spread awareness, we're really trying to make a positive impact. So with that, I feel like the people that are part of the campaign have to be educated about how to talk about it so that they don't negatively affect a victim or survivor and have them, in a sense, relive their experience. All right, defining success. So success can be defined in many ways, and here are a few ways that I've outlined. So as far as numbers go, event attendance and video views, we want to see those numbers continually going up in a positive direction, and make sure that we're increasingly always outreaching to the student body and getting more and more people involved. We'd like to pass out knowledge surveys to see what people know in the beginning and then what they know at the end of the year to see if they're actually learning what we're trying to advocate for. And developing a long-term strategic plan, like I mentioned earlier, this will be definitely a big piece of success and a legacy that I want to leave at my school, is helping by leaving a long-term strategic plan and working with faculty, staff, student leaders, the whole university, all our partnerships, and how we're going to move in addressing this issue for years to come, which goes into sustainability, definitely leading the torch and making sure that other people are able to pick up the campaign when people that are really passionate about it now have to go to law school and other things. And then creating a mandatory workshop and educational program. Again, I think that this is very beneficial, and in 4 years, if it's done right, that will make sure that the entire student body at my school has at least a base knowledge of what consent is and what sexual assault is. So that's something that I'm really pushing forward to have happen. And then ultimately, I'm going to see success is in our campus. We'll see success as a reduced number of sexual assaults on our campus. This is what we're really advocating for and pushing for, and we really want to see these numbers go down. So I want to end on a note by just challenging all of you that if you say something, be sure to do something. I myself define success as a sexual assault awareness prevention advocate as having one less friend, one less brother or sister, family member that is not assaulted. And I just want to challenge all of you guys to, again, be sure that you step in if you see something that's going on that doesn't look right, because it's on us to stop sexual assault. And with that, I'll open the floor to any questions. Yeah, Doug.
I really like the project. I'm a little confused, but I guess I'd like a little more clarification on, what is your relationship with the administration of the university, and particularly in terms of the departments there that are responsible for responding to student complaints.
Yeah, definitely.
Just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, good question. It actually just blew past my mind. I had that written down. But our university, the students of the It's on Cougs campaign, we currently have a pretty good relationship with the stakeholders that are involved, such as like Dean of Students, our Title IX office, and that's something that we really want to make sure that we continue to foster. And as far as, I think that the campaign has really opened the university's eyes as to how they deal with sexual assault and making sure that victims and survivors have the support they need. But I really think that the It's on Cougs campaign, the gap that's missing is the prevention side. So the It's on Cougs campaign is trying to fill in and be more proactive rather than reactive. Yeah.
So have you talked to any other student leaders from different colleges that may be on the wait list and have you learned anything? And also, Benjamin's own claim, have you thought about, because I know you kind of did your education on this, talking to like high school seniors
Mm-hmm.
at all?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, I've had the great opportunity to be here with 15 other student leaders, and I have outreach to quite a few of them as to what their universities do. We also are part of the Pac-12, so a lot of the research I have done has to do with the Pac-12. So with everything happening in Stanford, that was a school that we really looked into their research, and I have a couple friends there that I've outreached. And then what was the second part of your question, sorry? Yeah, for sure. We do have Pullman High School, which is some of the students there do go to WSU. And this is something that if I continue to work on like past my years in college, I'd like to see like mandatory and like health education classes that they talk about it. As far as I know, California is the only state that has it required so far. So being from Nevada and being part Washington, I guess now, I think that that would be something that I would definitely want to look into. Yeah, Ben. Yeah, definitely. That's a good question. I would have to say that, again, the biggest part of this is it's on Cougs, like it's on us. So we want to make sure that when we are targeting different specific groups, such as the Greek community, that they can take ownership of the campaign. And being a member of the Greek community myself, definitely being like around like some of that happening and just encouraging like my house in particular, like, you know, like setting an example, like that is not something that should be going on. Yeah.
You mentioned Greek life. What other campus organizations have you been able to connect with? Have you, obviously you mentioned student government. Have you been able to work with Res Life or any other like committees that you call on our campus? Is that
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good question too. I myself was a resident advisor last year, and we go through like brief training about sexual assault and like how to deal with it if like your resident comes to you. But we have a good connection with residents' life, and we definitely want to make sure that RAs are getting trained, and also encourage them to put on programs in their hall. And that's something that we want to do with all other organizations. So we've actually been able to go to, I think, at least over like 10 different like big RSOs on campus, registered student organizations, to come in and do a presentation like this, a workshop, and let them, you know, take the pledge and do what they can to help like end this issue. So, yeah.
I think it's obviously very admirable that you want to tackle this as a big initiative, but your Washington State is on the watch list for a reason. Is there a step two for this organization for any type of advocacy in terms of the processes of how the university handles when this all actually happens?
Yeah, definitely. I think advocacy and prevention is probably something that we, I guess I'm speaking from my perspective of what I see the campaign to be, but advocacy is probably one of the #1 things, but also really looking into university policies and making sure that they are up to code and like being helpful for students in the long run. One important thing to note too, I'm glad you asked this question, is to be on the watch list, it's not like this is like happening over and over again. One student can file a report with the Department of Education, and then automatically your university's on the watch list. And we've been on the watch list for 3 years now, I think, 3 to 4, and we haven't heard anything back, rather than like we're on the watch list. So it's kind of something I think that we definitely want to look into, but that's, again, a big like problem. So, yeah.
So since you've been working with this campaign for a little while, how has the administration responded to you in the past, and how do you expect them to respond to you in the future?
Yeah, good question. I would have to say that at the start of all of this, and when the It's On Us nationwide campaign was launched, that administration, from my perspective, might have been a little hesitant, but I also had administration that encouraged us as student government to adopt this campaign, and with like my personal relationship with Megan and everything else that was going on, this is something that like I wanted to take by full force, as well as other student leaders, and they've been pretty receptible so far to what we've been doing. They've actually been featured in some of our educational videos, so like our university president has been in a video that we've posted. And as far as the future goes, I think that they'll continue to be close partners with us, and that we'll be able to foster that relationship, because that's something that we really do need, like I said, if we want to make a positive impact. Yeah.
I just have a question about prevention and education. Has there been research done on the common denominators around these sexual assaults, like avoid this situation, have a buddy when you're walking across campus after whatever time after dark,
Yeah, it's the big part. But again, we don't have a specific educational program per se that is out there yet. Different departments such as residence life do programs, but really looking at the statistics, there does show, like when alcohol is involved, when you're out like with people you don't know, even that like your friends are more likely to assault you rather than a stranger, and those type of things. And those are something that we definitely want to be aware of, like I said, because we have to be knowledgeable about the issue if we want to truly spread awareness and see a positive change. Great. Is there any more questions? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Oh.